Hi, Mr. Sorkin. How are you doing
Aaron,
today?
please. It's nice to
Aaron,
meet you.
thank you. Well, it's an honor to meet you, and I'm so pleased that I have this opportunity to speak with you. Thank you so much.
That's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. I am an ardent admirer of your work. I think that you accomplish rare things in your films. They are always very compelling for audiences, and they make audiences think and rethink perhaps their preconceptions about what's going on in the world, and even perhaps drive them to take or behave more responsibly in society. This particular film, The Trial of Chicago 7, is based on a true story that happened. My question to you is, how do you? I mean, it's an entertaining film that is very educational. It's telling people about something that they may not know about because they're young and they haven't been there. How do you find the balance between the entertainment value and the educational value in your films?
What I cling to are rules of drama that are 2,500 years old, that were written by Aristotle 3 centuries before Christianity, about intention and obstacle. Somebody wants something, something standing in their way of getting it. And if I stay true to the dramatic elements, if you're telling a good story and you're able to tell it well, and when I say tell it well, I'm not talking about just me. I mean everyone who is involved in making a movie and the 500 things you need to go right. Um, then it may do more than just hold your attention for that 2 hours when the lights are down in the theater. It may have a greater resonance than that. Um, so I hope that's a good enough answer.
Yes, it is a good enough answer, I think. Thank you very
Well,
much. Do
let
you
me
think that?
expand on it a little bit. You can't do something. First of all, when I sit down to write, whether it's a movie, a play, an episode of television, it's not with the goal of educating anyone or persuading anyone. I don't have a political agenda. It's a good story, well told. It is what I'm going for. So there won't be a moment where I feel like, okay, well, I now want to educate the audience on this, so let me stop the storytelling while we do some educating. It's always got to work as a story that you would tell at a dinner table, that would have make everyone kind of stop eating and listen.
Do you think of all historical events and even current events then as potential scenarios for scripts?
No, I don't. I don't, read the paper thinking, "Hey, that would be good." I certainly don't look at the front page thinking that would be good. Sometimes page 23 will have a story, um, and for me, the only thing better than a story you've never heard is a story you think you've heard. You think you know the real story, but here's the real story. There was more to it than that.
Mm-hmm. Is there any issue or subject that you wouldn't want to touch, for example, with a 10-foot pole that might be somewhat intimidating or off-putting?
Well, I think that every writer nowadays gets asked about, especially if you're someone who from time to time writes about stories about politics. I'll get asked about these last 4 or 5 years, and what would you write about this? So I can tell you that uh, I I think that most writers, and a lot will be written about these last 4 or 5 years, but my prediction is that you will seldom, if ever, see Donald Trump as anything but an off-screen or off-stage character. You'll see him on the TV, on the news. I can't write that character because he's implausible. You wouldn't believe it if you saw it. He would just look and sound like Alec Baldwin on SNL. So that
Just one more question with regard to your dialogue. It flows like music. It's extraordinary the way that there's an interplay of idea. I have a friend who is a composer who rides the subway, taking down the clickety clacks as musical notation. Do you listen to people speaking in that way? You came up with, I mean, the moments that stood out in my mind, especially having to do with Abbie Hoffman, for example, saying, "Oh, William Kunstler just showed up," or the interplay when he finally acknowledges that he knows Tom Hayden inside and out. He's read everything, and there's a moment between them. How do you listen to people speaking to pull these moments?
Dialogue is music to me. I'm just like your friend on the subway who is hearing the sound of the wheels on the tracks as music, which it is. It's percussion. It has a tempo. It has a rhythm. It has a time signature. My parents started taking me to see plays starting from when I was very little, and oftentimes I was too young to understand what was going on stage, but I loved the sound of dialogue. I loved the sound of these great actors using this language that was crashing into each other, and so I grew up wanting to imitate that sound. What a line of dialogue
Thank you very
sounds
much.
like.
We've run out of
I was just going to say, what a line of dialogue sounds like is as important to me as what it means.
I'm sorry that we have to wrap up. I have so many more questions for you. Thank you so
Well,
much.
I hope I get to talk to you again soon.
On Trial for Chicago.
Thank you so much.
I hope so. Let's arrange to do that. Thank you so much.